welcome to a special episode of Cricket Predicta brought to you by 1xBet, Sportsline and Womeki Infrastructure's Delhi NCR. Well, in today's episode, we'll talk about the IPL match that is scheduled to take place between the CSK and the defending champions Kolkata Knight Riders. In the 24th match that happened yesterday, that is more important, Delhi. Who would have thought Delhi would have been without any defeat? But yes, that's the case. In the 24th match of the IPL between RCB and Delhi at the Chinnaswamy Stadium, Bengaluru, where Delhi Capitals won by 6 wickets. Yes, Delhi defeating RCB by the margin of 6 wickets. And guess what? Delhi is still undefeated. After winning the toss, Delhi Capitals chose to bowl. Batting first, RCB scored meager 163, yes, for the loss of 7 wickets in 20 overs. For RCB, Tim David remained unbeaten on 37. Phil Salt also scored 37. Rajat Patidar made 25 and Virat Kohli just 22 runs. Well, in the bowling department, Vipraj Nigam and Kuldeep Yadav took 2 wickets each for Delhi Capitals. And that's what was the ceiling part. Chasing the target, Delhi Capitals reached the score in just 17.5 overs, just losing 4 wickets. KL Rahul, yes, the match-winning knock of 93. Yes, with his action, he proved that he belonged to the Chinnaswamy Stadium. He's a local boy. He said that after the match. But more importantly, that was an understatement and quite a remarkable comeback in the 220 form. Well, in today's match, we're going to talk about Chennai Super Kings and KKR. But before that, let me welcome my panel on the show today, Paul Dinette. Paul, welcome to the show. Paul, RCB had their tails up in the game when they had taken 4 wickets in just 58 runs. Where do you think things went wrong for RCB in their backyard last night?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting question. I thought RCB were going to win at that point. And I reckon Ian Bishop in commentary really nailed it. Danny Morrison was trying to preview the CSK KKR game, and Bishop was kind of like, no, let's focus on this right now because this 5th bowling option is going to be key. And he was making the point that Krunal Pandya or Liam Livingstone or both needed to bowl some overs, but when's the time to do it? And as is so often the case in modern cricket, Patidar made the decision to take Hazlewood off, who later on did get smashed, but early on had been bowling pretty well, and to bring on Krunal Pandya. And then they put they didn't attack with the field. They enabled Stubbs and KL Rahul, who are 2 fantastic players, it must be said, to just push a few singles, enabled Stubbs to kind of get himself in. And I think that was a key moment. They did it again a few overs later when they made the decision to take off Suyash Sharma when he had another over still to go. And I sometimes often think that modern day captains are too eager to squeeze some overs in, far better off at that point, because the run rate required was not explosively high. Delhi had the opportunity to just pat it around for a few overs. Had Hazlewood been on to Stubbs with a field that was quite aggressive, I think that was where the game was to be won. Anyway, later on, it was kind of the threat of rain, I think, that really electrified KL Rahul. He looked up, saw Hazlewood, and probably, maybe normally would have been thinking, oh, this is another over to not go for it yet. But because they were 7 runs behind on Duckworth Lewis par, he had no choice but to accelerate. Hazlewood didn't bowl his best over. KL Rahul smashed him for 22. And, on such small margins, games are won and lost.
You've been in Delhi. We've supported Delhi and we've seen Delhi lose last year. But this year, they seem to be completely a Max Pro kind of a performance that they have given. Did you think Delhi's unbeaten record is kind of helping them to chase in, close in quickly and win the games comfortably? Remember, they are one of the most prolific sides. They haven't lost a match as yet in the IPL edition this year.
I really don't think so. I sometimes think that the players in the IPL probably have a lot less notion of where the table sits than the spectators do. It must be a cavalcade of hotels and flights and practice and playing and match after match after match. I'm sure they all blur into each other at any given time. I wouldn't be surprised if half the team members don't actually know where everyone is in the table. And it's such an even competition. Whenever you've got a competition that is ultimately constrained, teams are constrained in what they can purchase based on salary caps effectively, you're going to have a very, very even competition as it is. Any given team can beat any other team on its day. Delhi certainly have been playing well this season, but I think rather than the notion of them being intimidated by their unbeaten record, it was the actual cricketing ability of their wrist spinners. Kuldeep Yadav and Vipraj Nigam were superb. They set things up, they kept the total in check, which meant that KL Rahul then could play himself in, and then his test match quality just shone through as he exploded towards the victory.
Paul, runouts are the most ugly thing, especially for the team batting who loses their top guy. And last night, Phil Sort did the same. Virat Kohli's and Phil Sort's mix up. Do you think that was the turning point of the game last night between RCB and Delhi Capitals? Your views?
Well, it certainly didn't help. They were flying along when that occurred. Seemed like Kohli was kind of ball watching and probably needed to send him back quicker because I don't think there was a run there. So I think Salt was at fault for calling for the run, but Kohli was a little bit guilty of ball watching. So that was certainly a major blow. I'll tell you what was another major blow, and I harp on about this, but coming out at number 3, Devdutt Padikkal, should be Tim David coming out at number 3. And I know no one agrees with me, but I just do not understand how, yet again, you have a situation where David came in only getting a handful of balls, and as it turned out, finished not out, smashing the ball everywhere. Imagine if he'd come in at number 3. The worst that could happen is he can hit one straight up and get out, which is usually what he doesn't get to face many balls anyway. But he might go on and actually play a match-winning innings. I saw an interview with him during the week where he said that he's quite happy watching a lot of cricket and knowing that he might not face many balls. I think that is a major mistake. I think he's a great finisher, but don't cut yourself short. When you've got a player that good, get him a chance to face some more balls.
Well, thank you, Paul. We'll let you go with that. That was Paul Dinant, the podcaster from Australia, who joins us straight from Sydney, early morning, every day in, day out. Well, in today's 25th league match of the IPL, they'll be played at the Chidambaram Stadium in Chennai between CSK and KKR. Remember, the good news for the Thala fans is that MS Dhoni walks in as the skipper since Rituraj Gaikwad, the new anointed skipper, had a fracture injury. But again, as luck would have it, Dhoni walks in and it'll be like a deafening sound. As our friend, umpire Anil Chaudhary had already said that. But so far this season, CSK has lost 4 of their 5 matches. Not a great sign for a team that has won 5 matches, 5 trophies, I beg your pardon, in this IPL. And on the other hand, KKR, which is a defending champion, has won just 2 of the 5 matches while chasing and losing 3 of them. Well, we are joined by Anil Chaudhary, the famous IPL umpire and the man who knows a thing or two about raising his finger, giving them out, and facing the hostile and the whistle podu crowd. Well, Anil, welcome to the show. CSK has dominated head-to-head battle against KKR in the IPL. Will it give them a morale boost amidst a poor run of form tonight? Their backyard, Thala is back, the whistle podu gang is on the go. Do you think it'll help the cause to win the match tonight? Your views, Anil.
CSK has a better record against KKR in IPL overall, and it is a positive sign for them, and it can help them to have a medicine, because since they have better record, they should remember good things, and high time they should come in best way with their available resources. Things are not going in their way, and KKR is doing very well this season. So last season also actually. Let's see how it goes, and CSK should think positive and use their resources with best of their ability.
Well, CSK seem to have lost many things and won very few, in fact, just one game. Does CSK need to come up with major changes in their tactics in this game tonight against KKR?
CSK somehow is not able to perform as they should, and they have good players, but somehow they are not clicking together. Maybe bits and pieces, and it's not helping them in one particular game. Maybe few shufflings, or maybe change of plans, like who will go in power play, or because power play is affecting all T20 matches in big way. Once you come up good in power play, you dominate the game. I have a very different idea actually, and no harm in trying. I think why not Dhoni should come in power play? It will be sensational. He can trouble bowlers like anything, because his power rating is outstanding, and he can surprise with all opposition teams that what is this? It's my idea. Let's see. Because unless they do something different, it's not going to help them. So we'll be waiting today how KKR and CSK play against each other. Record says CSK, but current form says KKR. But unless CSK plans something differently and click together as a unit, because they have players, they have good spinners, they have fast bowlers, they have batters also, but like they are not coming collectively.
Well, we'll let go of Anil Chaudhary, who joined in straight from his commentary stint at the IPL. We'll now joined by Noel David. Noel, thank you and welcome to the show. Is CSK's poor run of form good sign for KKR to dominate in this game? KKR has been going and taking a go at all the teams.
Look, Sunil, I don't think KKR will dominate CSK in this game at all because KKR is playing in MH Dabram Stadium, which is the home soil of CSK. Look, maybe both are sailing in the same boat with a wind difference. That's all. Not a huge this thing at all. But beating CSK in Chennai will ask for a huge contribution from all the players of the KKR, especially their batting, their bowling, and their fielding has to be up to the standards. The wickets will be different in Chennai. It may be a slow turner, or maybe like last game, which they have given you, maybe a batting strip, or which will help the bowlers also. But ultimately, Chennai at their home soil, they are a totally different team to come to the game. And moreover, with Dhoni coming back as a captain, will not only bring the confidence in the camp, but I think his strategies and his plans will totally boost the side.
What seems to be going wrong against KKR and CSK? They were most favorites, most pampered, admired, adored team, and suddenly they run out of favors on the points table, languishing down. What is your view of it, Noel David?
Unfortunately, losing close encounters, KKR will come with a bit of confidence to Chennai. They have the team to balance it. They have the players who can single-handedly win the game for them. Uh, but they have to collectively perform as a team. They have to get all the three boxes ticked rightly. That is their fielding, their bowling, and their batting. They have to play in partnership. The bowling unit have to bowl in partnership. The fielding has to be up to the standard and brilliant, because beating Chennai will take all this into count. Then only you can beat Chennai in Chennai Super Kings in Chennai, as RCB has done. But on the other hand, not to forget, even Chennai has lost a few close encounters, especially when against RR by 12 runs and the other one very close. So I think not much difference between both the teams, but we have to wait and watch who will be the superior. But I feel that Chennai Super Kings will be the superior ones when they play comes to their home turf. And not to forget, with Dhoni being the captain, I think his smart moves will play a lot of difference for Chennai Super Kings.
Noel, the change in captaincy is always hurting every player, everyone at the same time. Do you think the captaincy change from Rituraj Gaikwad to MS Dhoni will bring them luck? Because remember, under Dhoni's captaincy, they've won on many occasions, 5 times, and countless matches. Great memories. Do you think it's time for fans to rejoice?
With Dhoni coming back as the captain of Chennai Super Kings, will not only bring confidence to the camp of the CSK, but it also brings smile and excitement among the CSK fans. I think today the fans will be more happy to see him leading the troop, the team, onto the ground. As the Tala who led them few years back. We all know what Dhoni brings to the table as a captain. His smart moves, his strategies, the way he rotates the bowlers, the way he rotates the field. I think that will be a key point for CSK. Uh, I'm not saying Ruturaj Gaikwad is a bad captain, but unfortunately, he had to go because of an elbow injury. I think he also is good in this, following in the same line as Dhoni. But Dhoni, as the Tala of CSK and the Chennai fans, I think him coming back uh, will be a huge, huge boost to the CSK team because his keeping, his batting, and his smart moves will bring a huge difference into the side.
Well, we are inching halfway towards the IPL and we managed to dig out facts on the bowling analysis. What you see on television screens right now is an analysis between your spinners and pacers. But guess what? We haven't stopped here. We've dug down deep and we've looked at in the spinning department who's been more effective and in the pacers. And we managed to find out that the left arm pacer seems to be little more in demand, and also the wrist spinners. Well, we've gone to the Sportive Cricket Academy at DIA Emirates Hills and spoke to Stanley Chiodza and an upcoming medium pacer, the left arm medium pacer, Yuvraj Sethi, to find out about the scrambled swing, the angles, and everything put together. And that makes IPL an interesting combination and a contest between the bat and ball. Let's have a look. Hello and welcome to a special program of Cricket Predictor brought to you by 1xBet for making infrastructures, New Delhi NCR. Today we are here at the most exquisite cricket academy right at the upscale Emirates Hills. It's called the Dubai International. It's the Sportive Cricket Academy right in the heart. And I've got one of the most eminent coaches in Dubai and UAE. Stanley Chiodza, the former bowling coach of the Zimbabwean team, a former youngster, played for Zimbabwe at his youth. Stanley, welcome to the show. It's always nice to have you on the IPL show.
Well, we've been together on the IPL show, but we haven't seen each other's eye to eye. So it's good to have you here in person finally at Sportive Cricket Academy.
I think we've broken the COVID jinx, and now we are meeting face to face. Since the last year, since you were there on our panel, what do you make up of the growth of cricket in the heart of UAE? You've been here for some time.
Well, I'll tell you what, one thing is certain, they do have numbers. Okay, obviously it's quite a narrow and big growth in cricket, especially with regards to the numbers is concerned. I know the ECB has made a massive effort in trying to get cricket academies aligned with one another, trying to align them with their vision of making sure that there's cricket happening from the grassroots.
Right.
Sportive Cricket Academy itself is involved in the under 16 league. This coming season, we're looking to be involved with the under 19 Academy League also. And this is all being organized by the Emirates Cricket Board.
Well, suddenly you seem to see the focus and the fulcrum. The focal point has become this part of the world, the UAE. What makes it so special?
I think it's central. I think that's the key thing. You know, if you're to travel, I think it's one flight to anywhere in the world from
Yes.
from the UAE, and to be more specific, Dubai. So this just kind of helps with regards to travel itself, and more so with regards to facilities. I think you have some fantastic facilities here.
But what do you make up of the Lion King, the Chennai Super Kings, the old Warhouse, someone who's coached, mentored, looked after the team for several years? We're talking about MS Dhoni, 44 by the end of this IPL. Do you think it's time that the writing is on the wall?
I think the writing has long since been written, Sunil. I think it's time for Chennai Super Kings to head in a new direction, a new era, get somebody young. You know, even though they're doing well at this moment in time, I think this is the perfect opportunity to get somebody, give them enough game time, as it were. They did that very well with Shivam Dube. He hasn't obviously lived up to expectations, but he did show signs of what, if you're given time, if you within experience, what can happen. They need to find somebody who can be responsible for that finishing job and, importantly, that wicket keeping job.
Well, we're talking about the IPL. The show is called Cricket Predictor. We are live from the Sportive Cricket Academy at the Emirates Hills. Of course, it's the Dubai International Academy School here at the Emirates Hills. I've got Stanley Chiodza, the former bowling coach of the Zimbabwean cricket team, who's made this place his home. Do you like this place 12 months in a year, or is it only 8 months in a year, like all like all of us?
Well, for starters, I'm still to complete a year, so I'm still to see. I mean, I've heard stories about how the weather conditions here, especially summer, can be very harsh. But at the end of the day, I think the one thing that you're guaranteed here is you can play sports, especially cricket, throughout the season. There's plenty of evening matches and practice that happens.
I just want you to hold on your thoughts here. The evening matches, there's something which is unheard of, playing at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning. I mean, the matches go on till 2 o'clock. What makes it so special?
The love of the game, for starters. I
Right.
think the people who are here, we're resident here, they love cricket. An opportunity to play it under lights is a privilege, you know. And what makes it so special is the fact that the facilities here, Sportif itself have a fantastic ground at the Visions Cricket Centre, 4 senior grounds, all under lights. You can play anytime. All you need to do is just make a call and you get your ground, it's
Well,
ready to
that's a
go.
sales pitch. We'll edit that portion out. Not sure. So, but coming back onto IPL and cricket, which is more important, we've seen the bowling department, which is closest to your heart. Suddenly, the off spinners are the dying breed. The wrist spinners are the dying breed. What is the reason for it? Yet they get highly sold in the IPL auctions. Talking about Yuzvendra Chahal.
Well, I think the one thing you get from wrist spinners is they're genuine wicket takers. Why? They've got options. You've got your stop ball, and then you've got your variations back out the hand for wrist spinners. For finger spinners, it's a challenge. Why? You're only dependent on two major options. Basically, your off spin, which is your stop ball, and your arm ball. So on surfaces, generally like what we're experiencing in the IPL, surfaces that don't really assist spin, the ball just generally skids onto the bat. Whereas now, with the wrist spinner, the leggies, if it turns, the googly turning back into the right-hander, there's a bit of options there.
When we were growing up, we had something called the flipper. We had the top spin, and we had, of course, the googly bowled in three different manner. I mean, there are tales which talk about Abdul Qadir used to bowl googly from three different, and we've heard it from the greatest of the greats, Lord Sunil Gavaskar and Mahindra Amarnath.
Well, the one thing about spin, Sunil, the one thing that people need to realize, even as coaches, we know when we're doing our coaching, natural technique takes a big difference. It makes a big difference in the development of a spinner. A lot of spinners who are taught become too orthodox. And then when it comes to the big leagues, they're not really skillful. They're not effective, as it were. But if you look at Afghanistan, for example,
Yes.
a lot of the spinners, they are self-taught. Okay, so biomechanics comes in, the natural talent, the natural skill of the individual comes in, and this is why you find there's so many spinners like your Noor Ahmed, Rashid Khan, who has been very fantastic in the leagues around the world. This is why they're so effective. It's not about the coaching, it's about also allowing the personal skill to develop.
Well, we're talking about cricket predictor. We're talking about some of the great talents in the spin. Incidentally, the spinners that we're talking about, whether it's your the Khans of the world, the Noors of the world, they've incidentally come and struggled at this part of the world and learned their uh, repertoire from here. Would you agree that the competitive cricket here in UAE is far more aggressive as compared to the other leagues?
It's definitely aggressive, but what helps it to be aggressive
Yes.
is the conditions. Okay, the conditions are such that the wickets are not assisting spinners. In order for a spinner to thrive, in order for the arch to thrive, you've got to give that spin bowler an opportunity to bowl in conditions that assist the arch to thrive. If you're going to be playing Test cricket, you need your wrist spinners to be bowling in conditions that allow them to spin the ball. Hence, they learn how to control it. But if the conditions are such that majority of the games are now reliant on big sixes for the
Yes.
entertainment side of things, the wickets are now generally flatter and the ball is skidding onto the bat.
Well, for the statistically minded, the show is called Cricket Predictor. Just a quick glance on the number of boundaries hit in the entire 18 years of IPL. It's over 43,000 boundaries. That includes fours and sixes put together. That's a huge number. Does it make you sad as a bowling coach when you see those humongous figures getting out of the ropes?
Well, it does, honestly speaking, because I think the game seems to be one-sided. You know, it's a batsman's game, as it were. You know, it's either it's the batsman's game or it's the ones who are sitting behind the ropes, the fans. The fans want to see boundaries. They want to see big boundaries, for that matter.
Well, this is Stanley Chiodza, the former Zimbabwean bowling coach, in conversation with us at the Sportive Cricket Academy in UAE, Dubai. In the second section, we're going to talk about the increasing art of fast bowling, the pace bowling, the variety, and especially another breed that has emerged in the last 5 years, which is your left arm pacers.
Hello and welcome to the yet another edition. We are back again. We are from the Dubai International Academy at the Emirates Hills, and this academy is called Sportive Cricket Academy. Well, I've got the coach himself from the Zimbabwean, the former Zimbabwean bowling coach. I've got an upcoming left arm seamer from UAE. Welcome to the show, coach. We've seen emergence of left arm pacers as one of the most exquisite form of, they're like the royalty of the game. Suddenly, when you look at the stats on the screen right now, there are the less number of boundaries they've taken more number of wickets, especially on the auction table. They're considered as royalty with us, so the royal players. Now, what in your assessment are these 2 or 3 different deliveries that make them completely different?
Well, the specialty about a left arm seamer, and we're privileged also to have you with us today, is the options that they possess. And I'll just give you the number of options that they have just to a right hand batsman alone. For example, we've got the one that angles away. You read?
So, what is the seam position here?
Right. Instead of the usual where the fingers are along the seam,
Right.
you just tilt it this way, away from the left hander, like your first second slip kind of position.
Right.
Okay, that's the one that angles away from the right hander and over the wicket. And then we've got the one that swings back into the right hander. You read? Right? As you see, the sim position has changed. Instead of facing the first and second slip, you pull it back in as if to find the kind of a position. And then what happens is through the air, it comes back into the right hand. And then we've got the scrambled seam.
Yes, that is something that our viewers want to know. What is the entire thing about scrambled seams? Because you've got more number of wickets in the last 3 years through the scrambled seam. So just help us demystify the scrambled seam business.
Now, the important thing about the scrambled seam, especially bowling on flat surfaces,
Right. Okay.
it's one effective way to stop runs and or take wickets. Why? When you hold it across the seam like this,
Just help us understand, like a bowler would, right?
So basically, in that position, when you hold the seam across, put your fingers across like you've got this, when it bounces, chances are it can hit the side, and when it hits the side, it skids on. So it actually rushes the batsman, and then when it hits the seam or lands with the seam, what happens is there can be lack of bounce or it can pop up. So what it does basically is it just keeps the batsman guessing because he's not sure what's going to happen. And the important thing about the scrambled seam, is you maintain your action. You don't even know it's coming until lack of bounce. You go to the analyst, you realize that they have across the seam.
Who, according to you, is the most efficient scrambled seam bowler in today's time?
Well, if you look at bowling, pretty much nearly with a left arm or right hand, with bowling cutters, you see on flat wickets, what happens is the seam, you can't feel it because it goes inside the ball, inside the loop. So for you to be able to feel the ball, you're better off holding it across it. So if you want to go cutters or take pace off, the slow ball bounces, you're better off holding it across it so you can feel the ball in your hand. So it's either left arm bowlers and right arm bowlers. They both feel comfortable holding the ball across it.
Also, when you're dealing with the left arm pacers, there's something called the angle, which make them all the more difficult for the batter to hit, especially at the end overs. What do you think is the angle does to a batter, especially when a bowler is coming pacing in at 140 miles per hour?
Like I said, we've got UV. UV has got the option to go over the wicket. And when we're now talking of creation of angles to a right-hander, we can ask UV to go from around the wicket. So instead of a right-arm seamer, where if you go from over the wicket, the ball comes dead straight to the batsman, especially in conditions that are flat, and there's no lateral movement. But if the left-arm seamer comes around from the wicket, because of the nature of his delivery, he's coming from wide in the crease. For him to hit top of the stump, he has to angle it into the batsman. So what it means now is for the batsman, it's not just you planting your foot going forward. You have to think the amount of angle that it's going to move into.
So would you look at this bowling, this kind of angle at on the last end of your delivery stride, or you prepared? I mean, can the batsman read you that he's going to come in and dip the ball in like in the old days?
Well, the thing about batting is lots of premeditation that happens. You can't really tell just how much, but you can have an idea of how much it's going to angle in by virtue of where the ball is landing. Some bowlers like to use the crease. Some will come closer to the stump. Some will go wider. The wider you go from the crease, the more you angle.
Well, that's all. You heard it from three of the best voices of the game. You had one of the greatest umpires of the IPL, now a commentator and an expert, talking about the bowlings, the perils of officiating in a match where a left-hander is there. We also had a Uber coach from Zimbabwe who's currently in Dubai at the Sportive Academy, talking about and demystifying the scene. And we also had young Yuvraj talking about the bowling stride and what goes inside the mind of a 19-year-old when he bowls to the biggest stars.
Well, there you heard it from four of the most eminent voices in the game. One is an absolute umpire, the other is a podcaster who gets more views than most of the television shows on the TV of cricket. Paul Dinnett. We also had Noel David and Coach Stanley Chiozza. This is all from the Marbella Resorts in Sharjah. This is Sunil Yashkalra saying adios for Cricket Predictor. Don't go anywhere else. We'll be back after a short commercial break.
For more such videos, subscribe to the Newsx YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.